Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. In this podcast, we like to tackle the CNC industry specifically and really talk a little bit about business in general. Hopefully, you'll find some entertainment throughout it and hopefully some education. But the next episode starts right now. Welcome to this week's episode of Talking Shop. I am your host, Brandon Bombardo. As always, back with Nick Peters here in the office.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, man. And we were at
Good
PRI.
to be back.
Last week we were crazy busy.
This week we're crazy busy.
We're kind of crazy busy right now.
Next
we're still
week
here.
We're busier.
Yeah. But again, we're going to try to have some fun today. Hopefully keep you guys all entertained. Obviously challenge your thought process a little bit. Hopefully just kind of get everybody moving. Get them grooving. We're moving into Christmas. Grab your drinks. Grab some eggnog.
Oh, I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a drink.
Do you like eggnog?
Disgusting.
Grab eggnog.
Gross.
Put on your headphones. Let's talk shop.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. No, you said PRI though. Yeah, we were at PRI 2 weeks ago now. Crazy.
Fun time though, huh?
It was busy, man.
Busy's good.
Yeah, it was a very, very busy show. Obviously for us, ShopSabre was a huge hit. Tons of people walking around our booth all the time. Competitors walking around our booth. That was kind of fun.
Sounds like there was a lot of people that were like, whoa, what is this thing?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that were like, it was pretty awesome. We had a lot of people that were like, came to the show to buy something for my race car, gonna walk away with a tool. And we had guys that like water jet guys that were like done with the water jet, gonna buy a laser. And
That's awesome.
Yeah, which is cool because for what they were doing, it'll work perfect. And then you have people that have plasma and that were, you know what? I want something better tolerance than what I've been getting on plasma. Just didn't think I could afford it. And then they realized, yeah, they could afford it. So
Can't afford not to afford it.
yeah, that's exactly it. And then obviously, yeah, it was just crazy. Like time flew by. Now we're trying to get caught up. And then here's the end of the year. Like surprise, you have 7 days left.
Yep.
7 days.
It's almost 2025.
It is crazy. 7 days and it's 2025.
Christmas is like tomorrow.
Christmas is tomorrow. This is legit. Christmas is tomorrow. So Merry Christmas to everyone. I will say Merry Christmas from my table to yours. Hopefully everybody enjoys their holidays. And obviously we're going to be powering towards a new year, right? New Year's resolutions.
New year, new you.
New year, new me. But honestly, year end, Section 179, you got all the tax savings that are happening. And that's why we're so crazy right now. It's just a lot of people investing in CNC equipment, a lot of people buying new technology, trying to kick off their 2025 the right way. And it just not enough hours in the day for us to keep up.
Right. I've been telling myself for probably, 10 years now to do Christmas shopping a little sooner. I went on Saturday.
You waited until Mary's water broke to start
Correct.
Christmas shopping.
Like the head was halfway out at that point. And like, I don't remember the last time I was that angry.
Dude.
Like just the worst. The only thing that made my day was the Grinch swimming in the fish tank that had shields.
That's funny. That was so funny. You sent me the snap.
But that was the first thing I saw when I walked in, and it was all downhill from
Yeah. I actually, that's funny that you bring that up because I feel like the world is just getting crueler and crueler by the day. Like, and it's kind of frustrating to me because like, I'm a very like, I'll help anybody out that is willing to like be reasonable.
Yeah.
And like you go out in public and just, I hold doors. Like I'm the guy who still hold doors and like people don't even say thank you anymore. They just bars through the door, like get out of my way.
Right.
Like I'm holding the door for you. Like,
but if you didn't do that,
oh my God. Like, but I couldn't, I'm not that person.
Yeah.
Like I could never not hold the door, but it's just, I don't know. Even at the hockey rink, I've noticed it's just like the attitudes of people coming in and out of hockey rinks are just like, get out of my way. You know, like,
and
I don't know.
Why is there always one person that has to walk down the middle of the flow of traffic going the wrong way? Like, why?
They're the person that just likes to see chaos.
You're going to make me punch somebody.
Like it's clearly a one-way here.
Hey, just let me do my December 22nd shopping in peace without you screwing up the flow of traffic. Like, come on, man. You can see it from a mile away. Like, everybody's walking fine, and then all of a sudden, everybody starts to split.
Right.
Oh, it's this guy walking the wrong way through everybody.
It's funny you say that because we went to the football game. We went to the Vikings game a couple weeks ago. And it's the same thing at the Vikings game. Like, it's very clear the right side goes one way and the left side goes the opposite way. You know, it's clockwise versus counterclockwise. And there's always that one guy who's just coming down the wrong way.
It makes no sense.
It's awesome. You just made my day. It was awesome. But Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at, though. I mean, as I look at like current events and where we're at, like just, man, end of the year, people are just crazy busy. It seems like things are starting to maybe turn around a little bit. Hopefully 2025 is going to ride this wave. Like, there's a lot of like business that seems to have just picked up over the last several weeks
For sure.
and continues to pick up. So just exciting. Like I said, end of the year, you got to get on this thing before it's too late. Probably by the time you're listening to this, you're scrambling and panicking because it's after Christmas now and you got a handful of days left.
Right. Pretty much.
And then the way the weekends fall or the holidays
Right in the
fall,
middle of the week.
right in the middle of the week, like just kills your momentum, like just makes everything twice as hard.
And then the kids go back to school on a Thursday. Like,
Your kids go back on the Thursday?
yeah, the 2nd. Like, why not just take the rest of that week off?
Really?
I don't get it.
Yeah, a lot of them, like I know a lot of schools around here are going back on the 6th,
Yeah.
which is that
sense,
Monday,
right?
I think, right? But I guess I don't even know when my wife and kids go back.
Kids are going to be going back to school all hungover from New Year's still. Like, let them just rest for a little bit.
Hungover from New Year's.
Hey, also,
Yeah.
do you have any idea who Pete is?
This is a dad joke, and I'm not participating.
And why do we do so many things in his sake?
For Pete's sake. Moving on.
I had to get one in there.
Yeah,
I don't have anything else. I wasn't prepared to do this on a Monday, so
that's why I did it. I threw it off on you because I was like, maybe I won't have to deal with these dad jokes. Almost worked.
almost.
Customer questions and comments. I don't know what just happened there. We pushed a bunch of buttons in my
The
fingers.
machine is broken too.
The machine, it's broken. Let's try this again. Customer questions and comments. There you go. Sorry. Fat fingered the buttons. Moving on.
Moving on.
Customer questions and comments. We had a comment that was unmatched precision, power, and reliability. If you really believe it's unmatched, you need to do some research. So this comment's almost fitting for the internet. It's broken because the purpose of the comment literally is non-productive. I mean, this kind of goes back to my earlier statement, the world itself. Just scroll it on if you don't like it. But since they chose to post, and I have a lot of experience in this industry, I felt like I'll respond. I do feel it's unmatched and it's an appropriate statement. There's nobody in this industry currently that's building a machine that offers the upgraded tool changer technology that we've developed on this ISA machine while still utilizing the Mitsubishi motion control system and then the M series controller by them. And then furthermore, that has a loader unloader that is full 3-axis driven by ball screw built here in the US. Well, not only all of that, including lifetime tech support, not through a distributor. You don't have to buy it through a middleman. And then we offer training and software and all at the price point that we are. So the word unmatched, I think, actually fits perfectly. So I've done my research, know the industry really well. I encourage you to do yours because I feel like the statement that was made there for that ad is absolutely fitting for the product. And while you probably sell machines against me, and that's why you say it, I think the research kind of speaks for itself. So stand behind what we're doing. I think we're doing a lot of great things here. We think we got a really good group of people. So thanks for the comment. Appreciate the shout out, but I stand behind it. So comment number 2 is it possible to cut foam board with a regular tool used for MDF on one of these machines? And they were talking about one of our routers. Simple answer is yes. I mean, absolutely. I mean, you can use the tool for anything you want, but I think it's important to note that if you want to use a wrench as a hammer, you're going to be able to do that too. So, I mean, you need to use the right tool for the job. I think, having the right bit and the right tooling will ultimately produce a better result and long-term, produces a better quality cut. Also safer because you're not getting unnecessary heat transfer. Certain bits will not work properly with certain materials, but everything's possible. But I would recommend a tool designed for cutting foam board if we're cutting foam board. So that's just my thought process on that. And then the last one, like people are on fire this week. I remember Router Bob explaining how rack and pinion was inferior to ball screw. Now fiber laser has rack and pinion. Well, that's like apples to oranges. Yep. CNC routing does have a lot more cut forces. There's actual physical tool moving through material. So ball screw is still superior technology. And for over 20 years, though, we've used rack and pinion on machines. So I don't know that it should come as much as a surprise. Even when Bob made that video, we actually built machines with rack and pinion. So we don't build videos and make statements for sales purposes. We build videos and statements based on technological facts. And ball screws are superior to rack and pinion based on the technology. Now, there are very good applications out there for rack and pinion, and there are a lot of ways that you can use rack and pinion and still achieve some really great results. But head-to-head ball screw versus rack and pinion, it's not a debate. It's based on technology. I mean, there is inherently advantages to ball screw. And I would stand behind the fact that all of our production routers and high performance routers still use ball screw to this day, so nothing's changed there. Ball screws are better, I will say it, especially when you're applying physical forces. And I think that's why when you look at CNC mills and aerospace mills, they use ball screws. I mean, we have a $1-point-something million mill here that we've invested in that has very large ball screws on it. It does not use rack and pinion. So again, I think without a doubt, ball screw is a better solution if you're looking for routing or milling cut forces. But yeah, when you get into situations like plasma and laser, where there's zero cut forces, it's just motion. There's no outside forces. You don't necessarily gain a lot from the ball screw in that application. You're not adding wear from physical contact. So there's the answer to that. So again, I don't think it's anything other than understanding the technology a little bit and stating it for what it is. I mean, rack and pinion has a place in this world. So does ball screw. I just think that you have to understand the application. There's not a one size fits all for everything.
For sure. It's nice that you can have the facts and explanation to explain those attempts at arguments, right?
Right. Well, that's like I said, it goes back to it. Like, I just feel like we're in a world of people just arguing to argue at this point.
And I think what people need to realize, like, most companies that put that out there,
yeah,
they're just, a lot of them just don't take the time to reply to people like that.
Yeah.
But they should, because
right.
In all reality, it helps your
I'm not upset about it. Yeah, like I think it
helps you out. I mean, it gets more people to see what you're offering.
I want people to hear the answer.
100%.
And I even thought about doing a video and actually using that comment as the source of the question. And I think we still might. But, it's one of those things where you only know what you know.
Yep.
But, again, we're happy to discuss. I think a lot of times it's how things are presented or how things are questioned. If you're truly looking for education and you want to know the answers, like, we're always willing to help out. I don't like to go into the back and forth internet banter, But yeah, that's what I got for you guys. But now it's my turn to ask some questions. So the audience question of the week: what are you finding exhausting that you're having to increasingly deal with in your continued growth? So as you think about your business or you think about your life, as you grow, you get busier, like, what is it that you're having to deal with more and more that's becoming more exhausting to you? Like, what's a common challenge or a problem you have to overcome? And for me, as I kind of jump into it, I think having to explain to people that the world isn't doom and gloom. That's things, the busier you get, the more people you encounter. And I feel like there's so many negative people in the world that just look at everything of you're out to get me, or they're out to get me, or, that guy's not helping me, or, and I'm not even talking about in my business, but I'm talking about in personal life. Like, I see it at hockey. You hear it a lot from people, like the parents of, oh, so-and-so doesn't want my kid to succeed, or, and you just hear about it. And honestly, I never heard it as much, probably because I was coaching and I was on the bench, so I didn't have to listen to it. But now that I'm on the other side, I hear a lot of the banter between parents, and a lot of times it's just self-created concerns that really aren't real.
Right.
They're just looking into it further because to them, the perception of it is truth, And, I think the same can be said for in business. You hear people that, rather than just having a conversation, a professional conversation, right? Call up on the phone and say, hey, I saw this online, or I read this, or this happened. Is this how you meant it? Right? And just call it out for what it is. And having a professional, calm conversation about it. People make accusations and assumptions, and they just I get random messages at all hours of the day, and it's half the time it catches me off guard. I don't even know what I'm looking at because I'm sorry, but I'm not involved as heavily in every little thing as I used to be, because we're a lot bigger now, and there's people that do different jobs around this place, and I trust them to do their jobs. So sometimes the message I get is just the first time I've seen it, right? And the same could be said, in hockey. Another, thing is sometimes the coach doesn't always see that your kid didn't get even playing time with somebody else that should have, and sometimes your player just doesn't deserve even playing time. Sorry, but your kid's not playing hard enough.
You got to kind of look at the reality of the situation.
Right. But it's to not even give the coach a chance to explain it. Because instantly the coach isn't doing his job. Or maybe little Tommy didn't apply himself at practice, and now he is getting the reward of the effort he put in.
He gave half effort or was
Right.
monkeying around, horsing around.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, you earned what you get, right? Sometimes.
Right. So what's your thoughts? You got anything for this one?
I mean, the first thing that jumped out to me is like, I always go to my photography side gig with this thing, but like, when people hire you to do something and then they like try to tell you what they think is going to work better, like having them look at the
knowing
sun
better than you.
Yeah, like why would I have you look at the sun so you close your eyes? Like we need the sun at your back. Like just little things like that where like, I don't know, if they want to argue about what they think that they know, but you don't, even though they seek you out to do it for them. I don't know.
Seen Instagram, bro.
That's probably true.
I don't know if you know this, but I got a filter on Instagram.
That's true. And no, I don't want to do your photos sitting next to your fireplace inside your house. Let's go outside and do them.
But
so I just
fireplace.
I know, but like we're gonna just do it and how I'm comfortable doing it, and how, like if I have to tell you no, I have to tell you no. Like that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I think people just don't expect you to tell them no. Like,
I don't think people like the word no.
If they're offering to hire you to do something and they want to give you money, and you're like, well, no, it's not something I want to do. I don't feel comfortable doing. Like, just take it for what it is. Like people get annoyed at me all the time when I won't do photos for their wedding. Like, no. You're going to be a bridezilla. I don't want to deal with you. I don't go and do like, I just don't. Like, yeah, you could make a ton of money doing it, but I'm not going to go do it because I don't want to deal with it.
Oh my God, that was good.
Like all day long, just dealing with the crazy. I mean,
weddings are crazy.
They're crazy. And it's just like,
and that's just the nature of a wedding.
I
stressful.
I do it for fun. And like, I don't want to just stress out and deal with that craziness. So I just choose not to do it. And people don't like when I say no.
Yeah, but I don't blame you, man.
Sorry.
Good for you for putting your foot down sometimes, but it's funny that you said all that because it kind of fits in today's topic, which, today we're going to dive into two essential components of success and growth, which is attitude and effort. We've heard me say it. I say it on the show a lot. I actually use it a lot in coaching as well, because these two elements might sound fairly simple, right? Attitude and effort, but they're the foundation of everything. You can have all the resources in the world. You can have all of the skill. You can be the most talented person I've ever met in my entire life. And you could have every opportunity right in front of you. But if your attitude is shit, right?
It's going to work.
Or your effort is just not there, you're not going to get very far in life.
No.
Like, I don't care. You can be the most talented person in the world. And how many NFL players or NHLers or sports players in general have you seen? Because, Nick, I know you're in sports. And, like, how many people have you seen in those professional limelights that have some of the most talent you've ever seen that probably didn't go as far as they could have simply because they held themselves back?
Yeah, they think they're just going to make it on talent alone.
Right.
And you can't. Like, you still got to put the work in.
And then there's people that also think that their talent alone makes them better than other people.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, you might be smarter than me. There's plenty of people in this world smarter than me. I'll promise you that. There is far more people in this world that have talent beyond my capabilities.
Yep.
But I'm fairly confident that to outwork me, you better be ready for, a little bit of hustle. Because that's something that I was instilled in me. Is like, you don't have to be most talented, but you definitely are going to work the hardest in the
For
room.
sure. Yep.
And
I mean, we see it all the time in sports. Like there's always players that are like a step below the superstars that have just as much success because they give 110% effort.
Adam Thielen.
For sure.
Perfect example.
Came out of nowhere.
He was undrafted. Dude's a stud.
He was undrafted?
He's undrafted.
I had no idea. It's never been mentioned.
Yeah, right. But he's undrafted.
Yep.
Was it walk-on?
At Mankato?
Yeah, it was a walk-on.
Yeah,
he's a walk-on at Mankato. Goes to the NHL, has this like prolific career, has made millions of dollars doing it. And I would be willing to say, like, there is definitely players right now in the NFL that he is a better wide receiver than that were drafted in the first round.
Absolutely, 100%.
And it's like, that to me alone is kind of standout, and that works in everything in life, And so in today's episode, to me, I want to explore how your mindset really shapes your success and why effort is non-negotiable. Like I tell my kids that all the time. That's why I wrote that down as a note. Is like, to me, I tell my kid all the time, there's certain things we can negotiate, but your effort is non-negotiable.
Yep.
Like that is not ever an option for my kids. And how the combination of honestly the two can help you achieve growth, right? Not just for your business, but really in every area and aspect of your life. And to me, let's just go get it, right? Let's go get it right now. Let's talk about this. Why does attitude matter, Nick? Let's start with that. And your opinion, why does attitude matter?
Well, I mean, if you look at something in a positive way, you're going to have a better chance of succeeding, right?
Right.
If you go into it thinking that it's not going to work or you're going to fail, right? What are the chances that you're going to be successful? Absolutely not very good.
No, exactly. And I think, you said it perfectly there because it's the lens in which you view everything, right? Is that not what you're really looking at when you talk about attitude is it's your lens. And, that's why I asked you, because you're a photographer, right? Your lens is everything, right? And your attitude is that lens. A positive solution-orientated mindset can turn any challenge into opportunity.
For sure.
And negative attitudes, as you just said, can make the simplest tasks so complicated and so almost impossible. It creates a mountain of work in front of you that it's pretty tough to get past.
Well, and I think too, if you go into it with a negative mindset,
right,
you're not going to allow yourself to at least try to make it work, right? You're just going to assume that it's going to fail. It's not going to work. It's going to be terrible. I mean, I hate to go back to the photography thing again, but sometimes there's boys that just don't want to do photos, right? They're senior photos and their moms make them do it. And she's like, oh, this is going to be difficult because he's going to smile and he's going to be great. I'm like, you know what? Why don't you just stay here? We'll take off and go for a walk somewhere and it'll be fine because you won't be looking over it. And then I just talk to him and put a positive, look, dude, we can be done with this in 30 minutes. If you just give me some smiles, have fun with it, and we'll go back to your mom and you can go home. Mm-hmm. And it works.
It works every time. I guarantee it. Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah, because again, your attitude is your mindset, right? So let's go back to your mindset shapes the reality, right? Mm-hmm. Your attitude sets the tone of how you approach a problem, a person, a goal. And if you see a challenge as, insurmountable, I guess you're right. They will be. They're definitely going to be too large to conquer. And if you approach them with the curiosity and the confidence that, you're far more, for me, I've always said, I like a challenge a lot of times. I want to dive into something I don't understand, try to understand it. And sometimes I'm going to fail miserably.
Yep.
But I find that I find a solution many times when I have that attitude of okay, we'll figure it out versus nope, gonna fail.
Yep. And even if you don't succeed, at least you're trying, right? And making an effort to do it instead of just giving up.
Yeah. And attitude impacts your team and your customers too at business. That's another thing to think about as a leader or a business owner. Your attitude is contagious. And I think it's really a biggest part of being a leader is that part of it is a positive attitude and being able to inspire your team to work harder or build trust with your customers. Because, on the flip side, if you're that manager or you're that owner that's always got a negative, we've all worked for that person. Okay. We've all been involved in a place where the manager or the owner, or whoever, the supervisor is just a negative person. They look for the world out to get them at every turn. And they have that defeatist attitude, right? And it just spreads like wildfire. You could feel the negativity in the room. The energy is minimal. It brings everyone down. And honestly, like I've always said, what sinks a ship faster? Bringing buckets of water inside it or taking the water out?
Right.
It's definitely putting water in. So if you want to sink your ship, just keep filling it full of water.
I think that's the most important one to the whole aspect of having a successful business, right? If you have it's just they're contagious. Good attitudes are contagious. If you just make people want to be there, and make people understand that hey, we're not always we always say we're not going to every day's not going to be great, right? We're going to have struggles, we're going to have challenges, but we're all going to work through it together, right?
Embrace the suck.
Yeah, and people know that you're being supported, and at least that you're giving effort and is being recognized. It goes a long ways to keeping the people happy, keeping them there working for you, which is obviously important than having turnover every week.
Yeah, attitude drives resilience is the other thing. No matter how successful you are, you're going to face setbacks. With more success, you're probably going to find more setbacks, and your attitude determines whether you view the setbacks as a failure or simply a stepping stone. And that's my biggest thing about it is resilience is built by choosing to learn and to grow from every experience, regardless of that experience being a good one or a bad one. But an experience is an experience. What you take of it ultimately determines what it was to you. And so starting your day, kind of a quick tip to it is starting your day with that intentional mindset. You've known me for a long time, and I start every day with a quote. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows that about me. I start with a motivational quote. Almost 100% of my days start that way. But one thing that, you could think about is when you wake up in the morning, think what's one thing I can do today to move closer to my goal? And I know that some people are well, that's unrealistic. I'm not going to think that way every day. Okay, then just wake up and say, what are you thankful for today? Every day, wake up and just, what is one thing you were thankful for every single day you wake up? Because I can guarantee you can find 365 reasons every year to be thankful.
Absolutely.
And that simple practice will simply shift your attitude to more proactive than reactive. You're being a proactive thinker. You're getting out in front of problems before they're a problem, right? You're starting to find a way to carry yourself through the stressful times. And so for me, why effort is a game changer is simply because the fact that if your attitude is your engine, effort is your fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have the best intentions in the entire world and the most positive mindset, but if you don't try, or if you're with inconsistency in your effort, nothing's going to happen.
Right.
You could, oh man, I'm going to have a great day today, and then do nothing. Like, you're probably not going to have a real great day.
You're not going to make it if you just keep faking it.
Right. Like, exactly. They say fake it till you make it, but that means you actually have to do something till you make it. Yeah. Right. And so that's where like effort outweighs talent. And this is one of my favorite quotes of all time. And it says, well, first off, let me start off by saying talent is overrated. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Mm-hmm. Like, I believe talent is truly overrated. Talent is a portion of the success, as we talked about earlier. You can be the most talented wide receiver, but it's overrated because talent alone isn't going to get you there.
For sure.
And that's what I my favorite quote, and that's what I'm getting to, is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. One more time. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And it's the truth. Because somebody who is willing to go in and do the work and put their time in and their effort, they don't have to have this fancy degree, okay? I'm a walking proof of that. I have no fancy degrees at all. I've got very little outside high school education, right? I have a little bit of college experience, but I mean, nothing worth bragging about. And I have been around plenty of people in my life who have master's degrees and this and that, and they've been to, they got their doctorate, and I have several friends of mine who have their doctorate. And I'm going to tell you right now, like, I will outwork them anywhere we go. Like, it's just about your attitude and your effort. And I just know that, you have the education, so I have to work harder to beat you. Like, it's just further motivation. And so, to me, effort is what separates the dreamers from the doers. And effort compounds over time. So consistency is key. You have to take small steps every single day and take, an extra hour here and there. And it's simple as that. Like, for me, believe it or not, I used to be 45 pounds heavier than I am today. And I didn't change my life to lose 45 pounds. It was small little things that I did along the way, right? I started to be more portion control when I ate. Or I work out 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes, Nick. Like, I'm not asking for hours of work. You hear people are like, I go to the gym every day for 2 hours. I don't have 2 hours in my day.
Right.
Sorry, I just don't. But I do have 15 minutes because I can either sleep in for 15 minutes longer or get up 15 minutes earlier and put in 15 minutes of work.
Yep.
And so I do. It's 15 minutes a day. I don't do anything crazy, but for 15 minutes, I do something every morning to get me going. And it adds up because over time, that consistent effort builds momentum and then leads to, exponential growth. And that same mentality is not only in life, but it's in your health, and it's in your, your kids, it's in your relationships, it's in your job.
Yep.
If you do, like, every person listening to this if every person, let's try this again. Every person listening to this does 15 minutes of something they don't normally do every day for the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'll guarantee they'll notice some sort of a difference.
For sure.
15 minutes.
One thing you forgot about that helped you lose 45 pounds?
What was that?
You shaved your head.
I shaved my head and
I
lost the 3 pieces of hair I left. Like, no, that wasn't 45 pounds.
It contributed to it, though.
Small efforts, right?
Yeah.
And effort shows commitment. Me having to shave my head, I mean, it's a commitment.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle change. But no, it's great because now I don't know where my face wash stops, so it's really inconvenient there. I've gone through a lot more face wash, but I don't go through any shampoo anymore.
But you got to put all the time and effort into shave your head all the time.
Dude,
I mean,
every day. But yeah, I mean, effort shows commitment. When you put in the work, it demonstrates to your team you're willing to put in the work, to your customers that you're going to be there to help them, and even yourself, right? Because sometimes you doubt yourself. We all have those moments. Mm-hmm. And when you do the work, you take yourself more seriously. And people respect effort. I've found that in life in general. The effort is what people respect. And they'll respond to it by matching your energy and your commitment. You ever notice that, like, when your friends are doing something, like, you're more likely to do it too?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
And I think that's like that mentality is like effort builds more effort, right? I'm not going to let my friends do something alone. A perfect example is hockey rink, right? It snowed. I'm not an employee of the hockey rink. There is nothing about the hockey rink that I am bound to other than my kid goes there and I spend a lot of money to be there. But it was snowing and the front walkway was all full of snow. And obviously there's one guy there working, and he's Zamboni, and he's doing the whole thing, and it's snowing outside. I got to be there anyways.
Yep.
So I grabbed the shovel. I went out and started shoveling because I'm like, I can help out, right? I'll clean the walkway. At least keeps the snow from coming in the building, helps the guy out.
And then maybe one of the few people that walk by while you're doing that, well, next time we'll be
Well, they did. There's 2 shovels there. Obviously, I only have one use for one. But a guy walked in, and I saw him walk in with his kid. And he goes, oh, excuse me. And, I kind of shoveled out of the way. And I said, oh, yep, no problem. And I held the door. Him and his kid went in. Like, didn't think anything of it.
Yep.
They went in like the 10 people before him did. But he went in and got his kid situated. And then he come walking out with the other shovel in his hand. He's like, hey, I might as well give you a hand.
Sure.
And we both, like, knocked that thing out. Took us half the time because there's 2 of us. But then when we got done, and neither one of us really knew each other. And the guy there, I know him because I see him around the rink a lot. But he walks up, and he's like, did you guys shovel? And this is after he was done. I'm like, yep, it's all done. He's like, oh, thanks so much, guys. Just so hectic. I'm like, no problem. Like, took me 2 seconds to do it,
Yep.
But I got to be there anyways. But it's contagious because that other person, like, does he pick the shovel up if I'm not out there doing it too?
Correct.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
I don't think so. Right.
And then maybe, next month when it snows,
correct.
somebody else will be the person that grabs it when they go in before you.
That's my hope, is that just like it's contagious. Somebody else does it, and then we, as a community, we're better, right? The rink is better taken care of, and it's a better representation of us as a community, because that's the other thing. You have, other people coming from Edina and Woodbury and Maplewood and, Prior Lake and wherever.
Yep.
But that's a representation of who we are. You walk into a rink that's full of snow and it's hard to get into. Like, it just has a bad, like, image to the community versus like, oh, it's inviting, it's clean, it's nice, I don't know. That's where I looked at it. So, setting a clear, actionable goal to me each day, saying what you're going to do rather than saying, I'm going to work hard. Okay. Well, that's generic.
Right.
But saying, like, I'm going to follow these 5 steps every day, or I'm going to spend 2 hours doing this every day. Specifically, keeping your effort focused and measurable will make a bigger difference.
Absolutely.
And so, really the magic happens when attitude and effort end up combined. And it's the same thing on hockey teams. I tell the guys the same thing, that, your attitude and effort are powerful on their own, but when you combine them, that's where everything comes together. Like, that's where your most success is going to be found, because a positive attitude amplifies your effort. When you're approaching your work with enthusiasm or optimism that you're going to be successful, you're more likely to stay motivated through difficult times, right? Or give your best effort even when things are challenging. And that gives you a feeling of, being meaningful. And I guess it's less likely to burn you out, is the one thing I've noticed. Mm-hmm. Especially like in working out, as an example, trying to lose all that weight. Like, there's days that you don't lose any weight. So it's easy to just want to give up because I didn't lose any weight today and I've worked all this. But if you see the longer term plan here, suddenly those one bad days don't really slow you down, right? And, effort strengthens your attitude. And so when you see the results of your hard work, it reinforces that positive mindset. And, success breeds confidence, and confidence fuels that effort. And it's a cycle that just continues for, growth. And, together, honestly, it's the long-term growth that you're building, because, attitude is, your resilience in the face of challenges, and effort is what's moving you forward, right?
Yeah.
So together they create the foundations for sustainable success. And whether you're running a business, leading a team, maybe you're a hockey coach, maybe you're a football coach or soccer coach, whatever, or you're just pursuing your own personal goals. Maybe you're just trying to lose some weight. Maybe you're trying to, be a nicer person. Who knows? We've all had those moments. But it's just one of those things where you really have to kind of just hone in on your own attitude, your own effort for the greater good of growth.
For sure. And it keeps everything moving forward, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think ShopSabre is a perfect example of that, right? Our team doesn't just work hard. I will say we have some of the hardest working members of the team here, but the way they work is smart, right? It's a positive outlook. When encountering challenges, rarely do you hear around this place anybody talking negative, right? We run into a challenge and it's always like, well, we'll figure it out. We'll get around this. We'll come up with a resolution, right? Tight deadlines is a perfect example of this. Right now, we're selling a ton of machines, and we know that there's a tight lead time coming up. We know we're gonna have to work some hard hours, but we approach it with kind of a can-do attitude, and it, it's always about putting our best effort forward. And I think that's why we consistently drive high-quality CNC machines and results, right? Is because of the fact that we have such a good system in place with people who want to be successful.
Well, and I think too, you have people here that are willing to help other people,
right?
Like if there's certain questions that like I don't know the answer to, if I have to grab somebody from tech or whatever, ask one of the sales guys. Everybody's always really quick to give you that answer because they know, like, in the end, it's helping the customer get a quick answer. They're not waiting around and not getting frustrated by our lack of communication, and they know that they're going to get a proper answer in a short amount of time.
Right. Yeah, I think the practical, tips that we can give for cultivating attitude and effort, if you're trying to figure out how to do it is, we have to break it down to make this actionable, right? I mean, that's the only way you're going to be able to lay this out. So maybe you'll write this down and use it in your business or whatever. But some strategies that I have that can help you align your attitude with your effort, this is what I tell a lot of the hockey players when we're sitting down in meetings is start your day with gratitude, right? A positive attitude at the start of the day is definitely going to be a better formula for success throughout the day. It's a lot harder to get going when you're negative than when you're positive. And I always remind that as a flat tire. If you have a flat tire on your car, it's harder to get rolling than if you have air in it, right? Yep. So start with air in the tires. Take a few minutes each morning to reflect on what you're thankful for, as I mentioned earlier, or, shift your mindset from what's missing to what's possible, right? Because a lot of people focus on the things they don't have in life versus the things they do. And then set your daily intentions and commitments. Write down one attitude-based goal. I'm going to approach every challenge today with curiosity, or I'm going to, smile at a stranger today, right? And then, spend some time prioritizing those things. And then the next step would be surround yourself with positivity. And this is the most challenging thing for people to do on the list. And I mean this because I tell hockey players this all the time. Your environment matters. So surround yourself with people who are going to pick you up and create, a workspace that energizes you. And what I meant by that is on my bench, my hockey team is not allowed to talk down to one another. Absolutely not allowed. I don't have any room, patience, nothing on my hockey team for a negative player.
For sure.
Just go to the locker room if that's how you're going to be. Because the rest of the team is going to pick each other up. You're going to screw up. You're going to make a mistake. We're going to have a penalty. We're going to get a goal scored on us. It happens. If you allow that to turn into that's the foundation of what happened, well, now you're going to third goal or second goal. They're going to do a third goal because you're going to start snowballing. But good teams and better leaders can isolate incidents from the belief.
For sure.
Right? And that's where it is. One negative thing doesn't doesn't create the final result. So just move beyond it.
And I think it goes back to things we talked about on this podcast before is even just surrounding yourself with friends and family that want to see you succeed.
Right.
And put positivity into your day and into your life. That's what you need to have around you.
And that's what I mean by the hardest thing, because sometimes you got to walk away from a really good friend of yours.
Yep.
Or you got to walk away from a family member sometimes because they don't want to see you succeed. They are holding you back. And sometimes the hardest thing to do is look at somebody who is a big part of your life or who has played a part in where you are today, but realizing that they have now hit their life expectancy, right? Yep. You have gained everything you can out of that friendship, and all you're doing is tearing yourself down trying to continue that friendship. Sure. And that's the hardest thing, is to walk away from friends and family and people, colleagues. Sometimes you got to walk away from a person. I've always said it's the worst thing is sometimes a business has to move on without an employee because the employee has hit their maximum potential.
Yep.
And the problem is they're now, because they see the potential of the business, they're actually slowing everybody else down. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do is they were great when we were a 9-person organization, but we're a 90-person organization and we need them to be more than just themselves now.
For sure.
It's about the greater good of the team, not about what we can do for that one person.
And I think too, don't be afraid to express the reasons why you're doing those things, right? I can say from personal experience, expressing something to a family member that was going through some crap and being look, dude, until this changes or until you make the correct changes in what you're doing with your life, it's not going to work.
Correct. And some people just don't see it.
And thankfully it took, 2 or 3 months, but it's gotten fixed and figured out. And now our relationship is better than it ever was.
Right.
You just can't be afraid to speak the truth and tell people what you need from them to still be involved.
Exactly. And then the next thing is celebrate your effort, right?
Yep.
It's not just the results. Everybody wants to celebrate the results. And I think that's where we go wrong in life, is a lot of people unless you win or unless this, then you're only going to celebrate. But my kid gave up 14 goals this weekend. Okay. Rough weekend, but he faced, 60 something shots. So I celebrated the saves with him. He was really down on himself, and I'm like, kid, you played great. you made some saves that you had no business making.
Just going to say, like, you made 10 saves, so you could have given up 24 goals, but
that's
you
exactly
made
it.
10 saves, and that
Like,
was great. Like,
he had a 3-0, and he was mad at himself because they scored on it. And I was like, if they didn't score on it, I would be disappointed in them.
right.
Like 3-0, you had no business in being in that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's trying to get people to realize, like, celebrate your effort. Right? You tried, you were in position, you did things right. Sometimes you're just outnumbered, right?
Yeah.
3-0, you're going to get scored on no matter how perfect you are.
And even in the what seems like a fully negative situation, there can still be positives that come out of it.
Yeah, sometimes the outcome is out of your control. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. But focus on celebrating the effort you're putting in, regardless of the results, and reinforcing the habits of the work that you're doing, and hold your, morale high, right? Make sure that you understand that you're doing things right, and you can't win 100% of the time. I mean, professional athletes don't score in every game. Professional sports teams don't go undefeated all year long. Like, there's always going to be hurdles in life that are going to knock you down.
Yep.
And you have to learn from every experience, whether you're successful or you fail. There's always a lesson. Adopting growth in your mindset ensures that every effort contributes to the long-term success. And for me, the takeaway is just simply success and growth don't happen by chance. They're a result of showing up every day with the right attitude and putting in the effort to make things happen. There's going to be challenges. I've said this a million times. There are going to be days that you feel like you just want to give up, or that you're going to fail, or you're falling apart. But when you commit to staying positive and working hard, you're going to set yourself apart from others. Like, you're going to notice it. Like, you're going to say, you know what? Let's go into the next week with a better, result. But the mindset's there. And so for me, as you go into next week, ask yourself, after you get out of these holiday season, it's already crazy. Everybody's feeling it. What kind of attitude are you bringing to the table? And am I putting in the effort to match my goals? Ask yourself that coming out of the holidays. And then when you align those two things, there's going to be no limit at all to what you can achieve.
100% agree with that.
100%. So that's what I got this week's episode with that. Hopefully it helps people just find a way to motivate themselves, get to a really good place, because there's a lot of really good opportunity out there if you're just willing to refocus your energy and your efforts, because the world's finding plenty of reasons to drain you and drop you down, and the world just keeps getting more negative. We got to start finding some positivity.
100%.
And so with that brings me to my favorite segment. The internet is broken.
Still?
It's still broken.
Golly.
And it's actually something that I take personally this week, because, I feel like we've villainized the internet for profit, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody's just turning the internet into profit. And sometimes we've lost track. And honestly, that's what it's developed for, right? But, one thing that bugs me is that we had an incredible customer testimonial that we came across last week. In fact, we were emailed it. It was sent to us. And they were talking about how much they love their ShopSabre and telling others that, to buy the CNC is what they said. They're like, just go buy it, do it. Don't doubt yourself. And, I just thought it was cool because somebody's like excited about the investment they made, like trying to tell other people to be excited about it too, to stop doubting yourself. It's exactly what you and I talk about all the time.
Yep.
Finding this positivity in the world. And so we chose to share it, I guess, as the best way I could put it. Like, our marketing team came across this, email and decided we're going to share it. And to me, that should be an exciting thing, right? Sharing it. But unfortunately, it got turned into a negative moment. And I'm not going to get into the person or the place or where this all happened. But, what I will say is, in a world where someone is celebrating their success and a company is choosing to celebrate with them, it should never be turned into a negative situation. Never.
100%.
Like, there's zero room in this world for that kind of behavior.
Like, what's the point?
There's no room for it.
Like, there's really no good reason to even think it's
It's because, either A, you got a problem with me, or B, you got a problem with the company. And rather than just moving on, somebody's going to knock somebody else down and turn it into something about themselves. And there's no room in the world for that. Like, we as society have to be better than that.
And what people need to realize is, like, you make yourself look like more of a jerk than anything.
I don't
I think.
Yeah.
But that's what I think. I think, though, because, like, you're throwing that out there in front of people that don't really know who you are or anything. Like, why would you want to make that a first impression about yourself?
My thing is it wasn't even about the person. It's about, you don't have to agree with it, right? You don't have to agree with the organization or the person or whatever. But, like, if you want to debate something, or if you have an issue with it, you take offense to something. Let's start there. If you take offense to something, or something doesn't align with you, like, why would you not, your first go-to would be like, professional conversation with that person or organization instead of like making a scene out of a personal belief.
Right. 100%.
And that's where my problem with the internet is let's find a way to celebrate versus tearing one another down. Because I think in the end, like we all want the same thing. Like we all want success. And I don't care who's more successful than me.
Right.
I want people to be more successful than me. My goal is to help build success in people's lives.
Yep.
And I take a lot of pride in the effort and the attitude that our team members have here. And so, yeah, I love that our team wants to celebrate their wins because they've put in countless hours to get there and they deserve that. And I hate that we like use the internet to, villainize people, and it just needs to stop. Like, let's celebrate.
100%.
Is there a way to push that music in here? Celebrate. No? Okay.
Well, let's not have you sing it.
I was going to sing it for you because there's no button. But yeah, that's my thing. Like, so internet's broken because we're using it negatively. Like, there's no reason for it. It's meant to bring information to people's fingertips. It's meant to help people. It's meant to, make business easier because back in the day you had to go to a library and research everything. It took way longer. Now you can just like Google search stuff. AI gives you the answers most of the time now.
Like, it's Christmas. Be nice for one day.
Christmas.
2 days. Like, about 2 days.
Yeah, the worst is like, I want to celebrate with my kids his hockey game. That's what I wanted to be focused on instead of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's just where I'm at. So, moving on.
I was just trying to watch Sonic.
I was trying to watch Sonic. Motivational quote of the week. There is no continuum for success. Focus on progress, not the results. So again, my motivational quote for the week is there is no continuum for success. Focus on the progress, not the results. And then, let's jump into it. Final thought. What's your final thought, Nick? Take it away.
It's Christmas. Be thankful for all the things that you have. I know people get wrapped up in Christmas and think it's all about things and, gifts and whatnot. And I guess for the kids, it's fun to see, right? Like, open presents, open gifts. But, I think you also need to, instill the thoughts and the attitude of, be thankful for getting those gifts. Not everybody gets those gifts. And, make it about a season of giving, right? And maybe, I don't know, I took the kids out to pick out something to get Natalie for Christmas, on their own, right? So they could see that it's not always about just giving. You need to put the thought into it, the effort into it to, pick out a gift that your mom is going to like, right? And hopefully that kind of sticks with them and is like, yeah, we get a lot of cool stuff. We're lucky in that way. But be thankful for those things and go out of your way to give somebody else something that puts a little bit of positivity in their life, a smile on their face. And be thankful for the people that you have to spend those holidays with, right?
Right.
They're not going to be there forever. We're not going to be here forever.
Right. Truth.
Enjoy it and be positive while you can.
I can't say enough about what you just said there because honestly, you just made me realize I got to do a better job with my kids, making them think about the gift reason. I'm bad at it.
Oh, trust me, I am too.
I pick out the gift and I'm like, oh, I know she wants this. This could be from you boys. And they're like, cool. They think it's cool, but there's no meaning behind it for them. She loves it. I got to get better at that though. Making them realize why the reason is for it. Right. But the thing that I always remind people this time of year, and I mean this, I say it every year to somebody, and I'm glad I get to say it to our viewers this year, is there's nothing better than magic through a child's eyes.
100%.
There's nothing in this world better than magic through a child's eyes. And I say it because you think about the world of, what you're living right now. It's just everything. It's a lot bigger than you.
Yep.
Right? This is the one time a year when the entire world comes together to build this magical moment, right? You see it everywhere you go. And I'm not going to get into what the magic is because we have young viewers listening to this. Yep. So, but what I will say is think about the unanimity. Is that right? No, that's not it. Yeah, that was not the word I was looking for. I don't know where that came from. That was just my brain fumbling there. But unity, oh man, I don't know what's going on there. The unity of the world, we've come united on this one concept of magic, right?
Yep.
What if we carried that that mentality throughout the entire year?
Pretty awesome.
It would. You think about it, and it's just so I tell everybody, there's nothing more magical than looking at magic through a child's eyes. And so this year I ask you to sit back and think about the magic and think about watching the young ones and how simple life is for them. There's not a worry in the world because there doesn't need to be, because you as the adult are burdening that worry for them. But that burden shouldn't be something we're putting on other people. right?
Absolutely.
Like we need to all like pick each other up and find that way, that attitude, that effort, everything we've talked about today to carry that magic.
Yep.
So,
and you know what else?
What's
If you take your kids to get gifts for your significant other,
yeah,
they're going to pick something out, and then you're going to be like, oh, why are you picking that out? Oh, because mom was complaining that you used a knife on her pan and put a big scratch in it, so she needs a new one. So you get the new pan, right?
You find out what you did wrong. I like it.
But it's all in good, it's all in good fun.
No, absolutely.
Fun, right? Like, yeah.
But it's the truth. In closing, it's the truth. It's this whole thing is about good fun. Like we want to have fun. Like it's about making sure that everybody realizes like we're real people here at ShopSabre, right?
For sure.
What we do here at ShopSabre day in, day out is our career. It's what we do. It's what we take passion in. And simply, we're just trying to build a greater community of people that have access to CNC equipment. And whether, you grow beyond our capabilities as a company to serve you, there's many people that do. They end up buying bigger, faster machines that cost them $500,000. Like, I consider that a win.
For sure.
Like, I'm okay with
we
that.
got them there,
I
right?
want to be a part of that journey. And there's people that are still cutting by hand. And I'm like, you know what? I want to make your life easier. So that's really what it's for me, is like, it's about becoming a part of your long-term goal. Yeah. I want to be a part of the solution. And so again, if you're in that mode where, hey, we're trying to grow, we're trying to, find this technology, we're here for you. Like that's what ShopSabre is. And so, honestly, like all I could say is thanks for tuning in to this episode of Talking Shop. Share it with someone who, could use a little boost, or someone who needs to maybe think about their attitude and effort a little bit, or, just somebody you think might like this episode. And don't forget, ShopSabre is here to help you. We're going to bring your vision to life with innovative CNC solutions designed for success right here in Lakeville, Minnesota. And again, check out our website. If you haven't been out there, make sure you go out there, check it out. Our team's here to help you. Like, subscribe, follow us, share us. But with that, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Nick.
Until next time, keep a positive mindset, put in the work, and as always, keep talking shop.